Welcome to Epsilon Theory Shorts. Today's video comes from the Ask Me Anything with Ben Hunt and his guest, Dave Nadig. The question is, what is Volmageddon?
Volmageddon, right, which explained to the people what that was.
Yeah, so that's
right?
that's the giant collapse in the volatility trade 4 or 5 years.
I mean, it's a surprisingly long time ago, right? Yeah.
The key thing to remember is I don't want to get too in the weeds on what happened in the options markets and all of that stuff, but fundamentally what a big accelerator of what happened was everybody piled into the vol ETFs, the VIX ETFs.
And
at a certain point in time, not actually at the point of Volmageddon, but over the couple of years leading up to that, it was not uncommon that the ETF complex, all those ETPs and exchange-traded notes and everything like that, would own all of the available vega, all available volatility that you were trying to capture from the VIX market, from the VIX futures.
Okay, stop a second,
yeah,
because we're going to review a couple of words here, right? So
vega is the chance of an option to go up or down based on changes in underlying volatility, which is basically what the VIX trade is. It's a vol trade.
And the trade is you're either thinking that the amount of up and downness in the market, basically downness in the market, right, is going to either be less
or more than people are pricing.
Or more because the market goes down.
Right.
It's just a way of betting on market up, market down.
And a trade that it's now getting about 10 years, so it feels a little long in the tooth. Lots and lots of fundamentally long-only investment folks, whether they're individuals or whether they're institutions, basically just started doing more sophisticated versions of cover call rating, which is basically selling volatility.
Right. So just to explain, so what a covered call strategy is, you own the foundation of a covered call strategy, and now we'll talk about kind of how all things go wrong, right? When you put it into a fund and all that. But a covered call is you own a stock, and I want to hedge it a bit, right? So I'm going to sell a call. Right. It's covered because I own the underlying stock, right? But I'm going to sell and pocket the premium, which is based on the volatility of that stock.
Right. I'm selling the right for somebody to take my stock away from me at a certain price. And obviously you can choose which price you want to set that at, and the more out of the money it is, the less money you're going to get on the premium.
You're capping your upside.
Theoretically,
right? Yeah. But you're taking money now.
Right. So if I own the S&P 500 right now, I could sell options, I sell calls against my SPY position 20% higher than where it is now, and I'd pick up a little bit of VIG, pick up a little bit of income off of that.
But if it's taken away from you 20% higher, you're presumably happy with that.
Generally, you're fine with that. And there are just infinite numbers of these types of strategies. A lot of times people will be selling complicated tops to buy protective puts. So you create collars on your experience. So there's a raft of those products out in the marketplace. To tie it back to the vol trade, effectively that just trade became longer and longer and longer. There become no natural buyers on the other side of it. So when they unwind, there's nobody to start gobbling up the other sides of those positions, which means they tend to unwind rather violently, which is precisely what we've seen. And
so let me back up. So as opposed to, let's say, an ETF has underlying equity shares in it, it could get a lot more buyers than sellers. But you're saying when that trade breaks for whatever reason, whatever shock happens, when it's underlying stocks, at some point there's a buyer.
There's a thing there.
There's a thing there. And when you're trading volatility, there's no there,
and there's not a natural buyer.
And not a natural buyer,
right? So the thing about the selling vol trade, which is still, there's so many option strategies right now. You can buy a cover call strategy on Bitcoin. It's yielding 50%, right? So
is that right?
Yeah, because
the volatility
is so high, right? So you collect a lot of premium if you're going to start selling cover calls on that. So the point is, you start running all those trades through the market, the other side of those trades becomes just the options dealers at some point, or the desks that you're trying to negotiate with, who all have their own hedging strategies.
Right.
None of them want that risk.
They're not they've got no inherent reason. They don't care.
So the point I would most want to make here is that the role of an exchange traded product in here is to be one of many links in this chain of exposures. It's very rarely that the ETF is either the problem or the solution to these things, but they become a very highly liquid way of expressing those bets on NYSE. on an open exchange market where you can margin, where you can, get leverage, where you can get borrows and go short, right? All the things you can do in the public equity markets, you now can wrap because it's in the ETF, right? So if you've got a VIX ETN that you want to be writing options on, they can list options on the ETN itself, which isn't inherently, how many layers of derivatives can we get before we've lost all touch with reality?